Hey everybody, welcome back. Another episode of Wisco Boater's Nep'Toon Micro Tug 9. Today I'm going to work on getting the bottom side here routed to 1/4 inch. And then I'll put a piece of fiberglass tape over that, make that a nice smooth edge. I'll probably do the same thing down here on the shelf. The lighting is not great because I'm using the extension cord that normally powers those lights. Those lights. Best view is going to be right here, but it's going to be a little bit darker. But we'll see what happens. Enjoy some music while I do this. Not working as great as I thought it would. I'm also running into, I'm not able to get up under here where the motor is actually interfering, so I don't know what to do here. Well, this is not going as smoothly as I hoped it would go, but I did get most of this routed all the way up to here. I've got this part right here that I can't get to because of the trolling motor head. This is all done, just needs to be smoothed out. So I guess I'm gonna have to come in here with a sanding block to get rid of that. It's making a huge mess. It's making me sneeze. Got the bottom edges sanded more or less to a 1/4 inch radius. I used the router as much as I could and then got the sanding block out to finish out the portions that I couldn't quite get to with the router. There's actually a spot right here that should take care of it. I just don't want any sharp edges. I want to make sure the fiberglass lays down nicely. So, got a batch here. We'll paint this on. And I think I'll move this t-shirt around to protect everything as I go around the front here. Move this over a little bit. All right, there's no real reason to fiberglass the bottom of the shelf, so I'm just gonna coat it. Because I did route it, so there's exposed wood here. So we'll just put a little coat of resin on it, and that'll protect it. All right, so then I'm gonna take the rest of the resin that I have here, coat the inside of these quarter panels. The plans do call for this to be coated in fiberglass. I don't feel that it's necessary. I don't want to make it look like I'm just like getting to the end here and I'm getting lazy by not doing this, but honestly just don't think that it's necessary to coat the inside of the panels with fiberglass. Seems like it's just added weight for no reason. If they're coated in resin, the wood is then protected, therefore don't see a need to waste fiberglass and weight on this part. Get it coated, and then I'll put some wax paper over it to make it smooth. And I'm starting to lose this batch. So let's see if I can get this last panel coated before it does kick off and go bad. I've worked this batch for about 10 minutes, so it's pretty good. If anybody's wondering about my music choice tonight, well, it's been a Monday. Rush helps me relax. So Rush on Spotify gets the call tonight. All right, is there anything else I can coat before this batch goes completely bonks? The batch is pretty much dead. These gloves are shit. Don't like them. Some wax paper over the resined area. Pilothouse, I guess we'll officially call done, except for maybe coating the inside of the top with resin. That just sounds like a messy job to me, and it's going to be painted anyway, so it's going to be protected with primer and paint, so not really sure that's necessary. With that, as soon as that cures, the Pilothouse is done, except for final sanding to get rid of like wrinkles and stuff that are over there prior to painting. Happy to have that part done, and I'm just down to checking off things on the final finish list. And what else? I think I have decided I'm going to go with 4 seats. 1, 2, 3, 4, rather than just making a padded bench, especially for back here, because if I have just a padded bench, the gunnels are so short back there, and the stern doesn't have much of a backrest. So as much as I don't really care for the lines of having seats in the back, I think it's probably a more comfortable and safer option. I think I'll do the same thing. If I'm gonna do seats back here, I might as well do seats up there. Up front, I'm gonna try to find some narrow seats where they can turn around completely so that front and aft can face each other. We'll see what I can find. Just a quick update here. At lunch today, I decided to see if I can get this to show up okay. I took 2-inch tape and did the seams up under the rear bench here. It's not the prettiest job that I've ever done, and again, it doesn't really have to be. So that's all done. I took some extra epoxy, ran it down on the corners on both sides. Also there was a little bit of a trough in that area. Same thing over here. Just drizzled a little into the trough to make it nice and smooth. And then I also, this mistake that I made back when I was cutting the roof right there, I filled that in with some resin. So I made a little, I don't know what you call it, trough, boat, something like that for the resin to sit in, and then filled in the crack and then covered it with wax paper. So should be minimal sanding. I will have to cut off that part at the front there or just sand it down with the block. That'll be easy to do. But my order of foam filler should be here tomorrow. So once that is here, I'll finish filling the front bench with foam, and then it's just down to a couple of minor things other than, fiberglassing the sides, which I'm not sure how or when I'm going to be able to do that, because this side I can do. There's plenty of room here on this side of the boat to fiberglass the sides. I think I'm going to do it in 2 pieces and leave the rub rail exposed. I will paint it with resin just to protect the wood, but I want to make it removable just in case it ever does get damaged and ends up looking bad. I'll probably do a bottom piece and then a top piece. Now the other side, obviously, I'm not getting over there, and that's going to have to be done when the weather starts to warm up just a little bit. So I don't have to do both sides at the same time. So I can certainly get this side fiberglassed, and I'm still undecided about the roof. I'll probably fiberglass at least the top. I don't know what I'm going to do with the bottom. If I just coat it with resin or just prime it and paint it. So things are coming along. I got to buy and modify a trailer, and I'll be doing that here probably in the next few weeks. I'm just going to go get a 4x8 utility trailer at Harbor Freight and use that for the boat trailer with a couple of minor modifications. There's actually plans for it in the book here on how to modify the trailer for this. It's looking really good. Really, really good. My new order of Polymer Planet expandable foam arrived today. So I'm going to fill up the cups and fill up that hole. Hopefully everything will expand properly and I only have to do this one time. Also got new light bulbs for the halogens, so it's nice and bright in here. You'll notice in my voice, I am a little bit hoarse, and I'll probably cough a little bit here and there because the other day when I was routing up under there and down here, I was a dumbass and forgot to wear my mask. And I breathed, which is a safety violation that is on top of my list of things not to do. Hearing protection, eye protection, mask. And I just totally forgot, I guess. There's not really an excuse. I just forgot to put it on. And I'm paying for it now, so sore throat, it's starting to get better, so that's why I'm back out here working again. There's no way I could have done anything the last couple of days. I just could not stop coughing, so. Mix up parts A and B, and we'll get to pouring. Back to music, and we'll do the parts A and B pour here. This mix is absolutely fresh, having just arrived today. The other batch that I was using was older, which may be why it didn't want to kick off quite as quickly as I thought it would. We'll see what happens here. Get the mix going, and it should start to expand or kick off here within about 60 seconds. It's already turning that creamy color. Now it's cooler in here. I'm sure it was cold on a delivery truck. It's about 48 degrees in here right now. All the kickoff times are based on it being 72, which we're not even close to, so. All right, it's starting to foam. This stuff is definitely expanding faster than the old stuff. Get my weight ready here. It's going to come right up to the rim. You actually start to see it here in just a second. There it is. Drop this right like that. Let it come up just a little bit more. And set this on top, put the weight on, and that's how you do it. It should be just expanding inside the chamber now, since it has no place else to go. I've never used this stuff to the point where it like popped a board or anything, which it shouldn't. There should be no way that expanding foam would be able to overcome the sticking force of epoxy. Most likely what would happen is it would just start to leak out around where I have the weight on it. That's all there is to that. We'll come back and look at this in a little bit. All right, I just mixed 12 tablespoons of resin. So I'm going to coat the top of the roof, and anything that I have extra, I will go down and do the underside of the roof. So this is just considered priming the wood for the fiberglass. Man, I hope I can reach over there. Ah, man, that's a long reach. But this is priming it, so the fiberglass will have something good to latch onto, rather than just the wood, because the wood is soft and it absorbs a lot. And when it's absorbing epoxy, oh man, I'm gonna have to go back around the outside to get that, I think. When it's absorbing epoxy, it's not getting into the weave. So you gotta be sure that big areas like this get primed ahead of the fiberglass, so the resin doesn't completely escape into the wood when you're laying down the fiberglass. And I don't know if I've ever mentioned that before, and I don't do it on all pieces, but large areas like this where there's going to be a lot of resin used, it's really easy to get dry glass. And it actually happened a couple times on the sides of the cabin on the inside, which, you know, no big deal, not worried about. The outside, if that happened, that would be a bigger deal, because you don't want dry glass, especially where something is contacting the water. So when I was thinking about doing this the other day, I was like, well, I don't know if I'll prime it or not. Top side of the boat should never see water. Well, duh. Think about it. Very easy chance of seeing water every time it rains. This is the right thing to do. And now I'll stop talking and we'll fast forward. Roof is completely coated. I had just enough to do the inside of the roof front section. I got a little bit done over there, and I did coat the inside or the back side of the middle roof support. There's the fiberglass cutout ready to go on top when all of this cures. I'm not going to put wax paper on this because I would like this to be a little bit rough for the fiberglass to grab onto and then have some fibers kind of come up through it, and I'll put wax paper over the top of everything once the fiberglass is in place. So that came out really nice, and that'll be probably tomorrow's project to get the top fiberglass. There are a few little spots here and there you can see right there that aren't completely covered, but that's okay. And then there's also a little bit of a run right there, but again, that's okay as well. You'll never see it. Let's come back down here and come back to the foam. Okay, pop that loose. All right, so you can see the foam did start to come out a little bit. That's actually going to be, well, I don't know if I'll call that a problem. I might actually be able to sand that down into just a slight little mound, and then I'll just fiberglass over it. So I'll get to chipping away at that and find out where I'm actually at with that. But the front bench, center bench, whatever you want to call it, is completely full of foam. I've checked all seams inside and out, no leakage. So it was completely sealed with epoxy, and I think proven by the fact that the excess foam did spill out the top. So that's looking really good as well. All right, well, here we go with the fiberglassing of the roof. I'm gonna start up front here because I cannot reach this front area very well from the back. I'm just gonna spread this out as best I can from here. I have no idea how far this resin is gonna go, so I just mixed up 9 tablespoons, and we'll see what happens.
Smooth tempo, out of the rough, sends it on its way, lands short and left, and hops down into the bunker. That's a miss. Missed on yardage, missed on direction, and then 6 under par. Work to do to stay there in his final hole today.
Yeah, not a great shot there from Keith Mitchell from just about 125 yards from the hole. So disappointing wedge shot in there, but 5 birdies and a bogey so far today. Looking to get up and down and stay that way to finish in 4 under on the day.
Applause back to 2 for Adam Scott, knocking a 7-footer for a par save, putting with the flagstick in there, made birdie at the first, so made an 11-footer at 1, a 7-footer for a save there. Adam Scott, who started the day +2, is right on the cut line now, +1, 1 under for the round.
And Adam Scott is one of those players that is.
epoxy is spread. Now I'm going to put down wax paper. And I don't know yet how I'm going to accomplish this. Since I can't reach over there. Doesn't look too bad. It'll come out nice and smooth. What sanding will be necessary should be minimal. So this will wrap this segment of this video. This is episode 25. The next video will start with taking the wax paper off and moving on to the last couple of items before we start sanding everything. So this is pretty awesome. As always, hit that subscribe button. Like the video if you like it. Send me some comments. If you like my hair. And thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time. Happy boating!